A show. Coming up in less than 20 minutes from now, we'll talk with Dave Weinberg for this week's edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN. Also, we'll get your guys' thoughts and comments throughout the hour. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You can also DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. We did get a little Eagles news today, so we're going to get to that this hour as well. Don't forget Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at the top of the hour. Tom McGinnis on the call. So the Eagles news we will get to here at the top of the show. And the Eagles news has to do with basically who is not going to play moving forward. So we did get some good news. Jordan Davis's practice window was opened. It was activated today. And I think that's probably the news that, the average Eagle fan is going to zero in on. Now, for those who are not 100%, clear on the details, the way it works in the NFL with these 21-day practice windows is that from the time Jordan Davis starts practicing, he has 21 days to ramp up before they have to either put him back on the injured reserve list and end his season, or they got to put him on the active roster and make room for him. So I'm going to go with the assumption, because the 21-day window started today. Make sure I got a little calendar in front of me here so I'm not reading this wrong. So 21 days, which is 3 weeks from right now, you're talking about around the 21st. So in theory, Jordan Davis would be back at the latest for the Cowboys game. Theoretically, he could be back for the Bears game. Dallas Goedert, other news. Also, he was seen in the locker room without his shoulder sling anymore. So obviously, according to the Eagles and him, he's doing better. Now, he could also prospectively return for the Cowboys game. Again, he has not been activated for his window yet because remember, he has to miss a minimum of 4 games. But that missing a minimum of 4 games still puts him in the window of getting to the Cowboys game. So for what is arguably one of the most important games of the Eagles season, there's a chance that both Jordan Davis and Dallas Goedert are going to be available. Now, that doesn't guarantee the Eagles will win that game. It's just a point of perspective that when you get to that point on the schedule, reinforcements are on the way. So it's definitely some positive news for the Eagles. Now, Nick Sirianni spoke to the media today, and he gave no real timetable for CJ Gardner-Johnson. And frankly, he can't. You ask anybody who is a medical professional on or off the record, their answer is basically the same. Everyone heals at a different rate of time. There's different degrees of these lacerations to the kidneys. We have seen players miss minimal time like Zach Ertz. We've seen guys be, have their seasons ended because of it. So there's no guarantee that he'll be back by any specific date. It's fair to say the way the reporting is out there that he will be back at some point. Okay. I'm very curious to see what the Eagles do moving forward without CJ in the lineup, because I want to know 2 things. One, with Avonte Maddox coming back before CJ Gardner-Johnson, does he go back into the slot or do they try him back at safety? Do they keep Reed Blankenship out there? Is Blankenship going to get the next 2 weeks as potentially on audition to, solidify himself in the rotation of playing time? So again, I'm very curious to see what the Eagles do with that moving forward. The Jordan Davis news, like I said, it's 21-day practice window. Here's the thing with Davis. When you have what is reportedly a high ankle sprain, that's supposed to be a 6 to 8 week injury recovery time, according to the medical professionals. And I don't know if that can be a part of that environment anymore. I don't know if we have to start considering that, not all injuries are equal, because like I said, Dallas Goedert's already got the sling off of his shoulder. He seems to be doing okay according to reports. So look, I think for the Eagles, they're taking it 1 week at a time. But for our conversation here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, we all know that the most important stretch of the season is coming up right here, right now, for all NFL teams. Doesn't matter if you're an Eagles fan, Cowboys fan, Giants fan, Washington fan, Ravens fan, any team that is in that playoff conversation. You are going to find out who your team really is down the stretch of the season. Because it doesn't matter what stat you use, what analytics you use. The reality is that we can find a stat or information to prove anybody is good or bad on planet Earth. The one thing we cannot deny is a team's record and how a team is playing on the field with our eyeballs. And right now, the Eagles, they may have the best record and they may have the best season so far, but 3 of their next 4 games are against teams that present multiple challenges for them. So this is either a great opportunity for them to show their resilience, or it's a great opportunity for them to be exposed. And I think part of that conversation has to do with the defense. Because at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts has done nothing this year to lose this team any games. People overlook the fact that anyone not named Jalen Hurts has 5 fumbles lost in the last few weeks. A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert on the missed face mask. You have all these guys who are just fumbling the ball left and right. And you just gotta wonder, at what point did the players get chewed out this week? Were they chewed out this week? Anytime you watch Hard Knocks, you're typically watching teams that are not good. Playoff teams are usually never on Hard Knocks. So you don't get to see how winning teams handle their business regularly. Typically, Hard Knocks shows you the teams that are not doing so well. It provides more drama and more human interest stories. So on Hard Knocks, if a guy fumbles a ball, you see him getting yelled at by a coach on a team that is 3-13, let's say, or in today's world, it's what, 17-game schedule, so that would be 4-13. Does a team like the Eagles, how seriously do they take those fumbles? I would. I know you listening to the sound of my voice on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. But I'm just curious, how serious are they taking this? Because, look, the Giants may be sputtering right now. The Giants have lost 2 straight, and they've only won 1 game. 1 game in the last 5 weeks. Now, granted, they had a bye week in the middle there. But this is the Giants team that started the season 6-1 and now has lost 3 of their last 4 games. The drop to 7-4. Well, what do they have that presents the Eagles a problem? It's Saquon Barkley. What did you see has been a problem for the Eagles the last few weeks? Missed tackles, poor defensive positioning, Guys have to get their assignments consistently. So what does that mean to me? What that means to me is that this team is going to find out who they really are down the stretch. And it's not just the Eagles. The Giants have one of the most ridiculous schedules at the end of the year. They play Washington, then Philadelphia, then Washington again, then Minnesota, then the Colts, and finish the year with the Eagles. They're playing Washington and Philadelphia 4 of their final 6 games. And in between there, oh, by the way, the Minnesota Vikings, who, really the only teams to beat them this year and handle them are the Eagles and the Cowboys. Again, read into that what you will. Speaking of the Cowboys may not be in a position to win the division per se, but I think they still have a great opportunity to put themselves in position for the postseason and maybe get a better matchup than maybe somebody else will. If you're the number 1 wild card team, you're playing the worst of the division winners. And right now, that would be Tampa. And I think that Tampa's offensive line looking as bad as it has, and Tom Brady playing as inconsistently as it has, maybe that rematch for Dallas would go their way as opposed to the first game of the season for them. I think Dallas is a team that has a ridiculous amount of talent, but they have to play up to that talent. And I think that looking at their games down the stretch, the Colts on Sunday night, Houston the week after that, Jacksonville the week after that. Those are 3 games that they should win. Will they win all 3? There's no guarantees in the NFL, but they should win those games. Following the Eagles game on Christmas Eve, they have to go to Tennessee and to Washington to finish out the year. So the Cowboys got 3 games that are fairly easy. There should be easily beaten competition, especially the Colts, whose offense looks like a dumpster fire. Jeff Saturday doesn't know how to clock manage. And Houston, who's the worst team in the NFL, Jacksonville will give them a test, but I think the Cowboys can win that game. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles are pretty much locks to the postseason. The question is the Giants and Washington. For those who are wondering, Washington, who is arguably one of the hottest teams in football right now, they haven't just won 3 straight. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. They started the year 1-4. And right now, they're sitting at 7-5. And they got to play the Giants twice and then the 49ers. By the way, there's a bye week in the middle. So they have the latest bye week of all these teams. It's going to be interesting to see, can Washington take that momentum that they've gotten of all of those winning weeks? The only team they lost to was Minnesota, a team that both the Eagles and the Cowboys beat Minnesota. Washington lost 2017. That's their only loss over the last 7 games. If they can beat the Giants going into their bye week, it gives them a lot more flexibility coming out. Because again, I said they're playing the Giants, the 49ers, Deshaun Watson, and the Cleveland Browns, and they finish the year with Dallas. The NFC East is the center of the football universe, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. We'll get more into football on the other side with a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg is back for another edition here on Game Night with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday, hosting the Tennessee Titans at the Link.
Quick pitch. It goes, and it's going to be a loss as Derrick Henry is thrown back across the 45.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagle station.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence.
Hey South Jersey homeowners, autumn is here and fall season means fence season. Are you dreaming of a new fence or railing but you don't want to break the bank? Our pro tip of the day, install in the fall for big savings. As your exclusive ActiveYards dealer, you can choose from our inventory of privacy, decorative, security, and pull fence solutions by ActiveYards. No matter what your needs are, we have a high-quality, maintenance-free ActiveYard solution that is right for you. Don't miss our install in the fall savings coupled with our no money down, interest-free financing, so together we can make your dream a reality. So give us a call today or go online to DennisvilleFence.com to request a free estimate, and be sure to mention that you want to install in the fall.
Go with experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE. Visit DennisvilleFence.com.
Welcome to a late night edition of What If, the show where I, Jake from State Farm, answer your insurance what ifs. We've got Sean on the line. What's up?
Hey, Jake, what if I'm too stressed about my coverage to sleep? Like, what if I don't have enough? Or what if I need to change it?
Oh, if you can't sleep, just give us a ring. We're available 24/7. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs.
Oh, great. What if I just take a little nap?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
At the United States Postal Service, we're here to deliver fast and reliable service to help you get holiday ready. We offer free package pickup and deliver free shipping supplies to your address. So whether you're in Garland, Texas, Rudolph, Wisconsin, or anywhere in between, we're making it easier for you to spread festive cheer this holiday season. USPS, delivering for America. For all your holiday needs, including info about free shipping supplies, free package pickup availability, and restrictions, go to USPS.com/holidays.
O'Reilly.
Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery does need to be replaced, we'll help you find the best battery for your vehicle and your budget. Don't wait until your battery is dead. Get it tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing. I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
With Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get top brand laundry sets with the latest tech to tackle any mess you might face this holiday, like automatic fabric and load size detection for spills of any size, from cookies and milk on your favorite holiday sweater to the toddler of the house discovering just how fun cranberry sauce can be. Make more magic this holiday season. Let your new appliances handle the mess. Final days to shop Black Friday savings and get up to 30% off, plus instantly save up to $750 on select LG laundry sets at the Home Depot. Ends November 30th. How doers get more done. Offer valid November 2nd through 30th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Kendall Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. With over 80 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kendall offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or at KendallAutoplaza.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
The final day of November means it's the home stretch for the NFL season. The Eagles, well, the next few weeks will tell us a lot about this team. But the good news is some guys are coming back from injuries. So to get all of that and more right now, it's a Weinberg Wednesday, 97.3 ESPN.com. Extra Points sports columnist Dave Weinberg is back with us for another edition. As Dave, it's interesting that even though the Eagles are 10-1, as you know, Philly sports fans you give them a bag of money, and they tell you it's too heavy.
Yeah, that's true. There is some truth to that Negadelphia label.
I want to peruse through some of the negative comments out there with you to kind of verify what's real and what's not. Okay, because
Fire away.
I think that you have someone who's covered the league and the Eagles for so long time. You've heard a lot of different things over the years. So, I want to start with, how concerned are you about the Eagles' run defense?
Very. They just don't seem. I mean, I guess the yards per average isn't too bad. Yeah, yards per carry. I mean, but it just seems like teams are able to gain yards when they want to, and you've got some top flight running backs kind of heading your way, starting with Derrick Henry on Sunday, and they. Sue and Linval Joseph have done a decent job of filling in. And I don't know when Jordan Davis became an All-Pro, but apparently everybody's like pinning their hopes on him coming back. But yeah, they have to find a way to shore that up, I think, if they really want to make I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, but in order to make a deep run in the postseason, I think they got to play better run defense.
I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the Jordan Davis thing, it's a narrative that the average football fan is latched onto because they don't want to admit that Jordan Davis is not the reason why this run defense has struggled. Because, Dave, to me, the problem is missed tackles and guys not following their assignments. I mean, I've literally heard guys like Jason Avant and Trey Thomas accuse the Eagles players of not sticking to their assignments and playing individual football at times. And I just have to wonder, how does Jordan Davis fix that problem? I don't think that's a Jordan Davis problem. I think it's the guys on the field problem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Josh. I mean, it doesn't matter who's out there. If you're missing tackles, then that's the main issue. You're right. And whether it's Jordan Davis or Sue or whoever you want to throw out there, if you're not sticking to your assignments, if you're not following Gannon's game plan, if you're not just worrying about your own responsibilities, freelancing too much, maybe getting too aggressive or too passive, whatever the case may be, that you're right. That's more of a problem that just one player can fix.
The other side of that conversation is I'm conflicted about the CJ Gardner-Johnson injury because on one hand, I mean, just the idea of having a kidney laceration, just in its like context sounds complicated to say the least. But I remember Zach Ertz had a similar injury and he came back pretty quickly. And if you go by all the doctors out there, they say that everyone's healing is different. Everybody heals their body different. So,
yeah. Well, I read one report with, I guess it was Jimmy Kinski from Philly Voice, who actually contacted a urologist to get his viewpoints on things. And that seems to make, I was surprised that Zach came back so fast. Maybe it just wasn't that serious of an injury. I don't know how serious CJ Gardner-Johnson's is, but if you remember Andrew Luck and I forget who the other player was, but they had lacerated kidneys that sidelined them for extended periods of time.
Right.
I guess it depends on the seriousness of it. To me, that doesn't sound like something you can just bounce back from. That sounds pretty serious to me.
I'm curious to find out, because I mentioned before you came on, Dave, Avonte Max is going to be back in a couple weeks here. So is that a scenario where they try to kick him to fill the safety role? Do they put Maddox at the nickel and say, Reed Blankenship, good luck, we're all counting on you? Like, what do the Eagles do there? Because I don't think CJ's back for the next 4 weeks.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, but I think they're going to roll with Reed Blankenship. Although, again, I don't know how he became Brian Dawkins reincarnated based on one interception. But he seems to be a fan favorite, and good for him. Hopefully, he'll rise up to the challenge. But you're talking about a rookie free agent who's kind of getting thrown to the wolves here. I mean, people have been able to handle those kind of responsibilities in the past, but they're taking a major chance. I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson was on track for a Pro Bowl level season. I mean, led the league in interceptions, was playing very well. So it's going to be really tough to fill those shoes, I think.
Well, how Philly fans are. They remember the interception, but they forget the penalty that he had on the boneheaded play. So it's
Right,
like,
right.
Let's not talk about the penalty because Reed Blankenship is a fun name to say, right?
Yeah,
When he
yeah, that's true.
intercepted Aaron Rodgers, and he's a random dude. You know how Eagle fans are. I mean, everybody's looking for the next Vince Papale every year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, everybody latches on to the unsung hero, so to speak. And he definitely fits that bill.
I'm curious about Maddox because I think that the Josiah Scott being on the field has been a huge problem for this team. I think that,
Yeah.
without Maddox out there, it's obvious that last week the Packers were targeting Josiah Scott. Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm going after that guy, line up anybody on him because I'm throwing it to him. And I think that, listen, you can get away with Josiah Scott and Reed Blankenship against Ryan Tannehill and Daniel Jones, but you will not get away with that against Dak Prescott.
Yeah, very true. I mean, they've done a good job of disguising their deficiencies, I guess. And I guess I'll have to do it again. I mean, Avante's going to be back eventually, I guess in a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't think people have made enough of a big deal about his absence, though. You're right. He's one of the key members of the defense. And without him, it seems like they've really struggled.
How concerned are you now with 5 fumbles lost in the last 3 games?
Yeah, it's not terribly concerned because they've generally done a pretty good job of handling, keep taking care of the football. They've been one of the best teams in the league at it. So, and I'm willing to give AJ Brown a pass only because of the circumstances surrounding the last game where he was evidently he was pretty violently ill and popped a blood vessel in his eye supposedly from being sick, and so he evidently wasn't at his best. But I mean, he's not known as a fumbler. If it happens again, I think it's cause for concern. But yeah, I guess maybe it's just the law of averages catching up with them a little bit, Josh. I mean, Jalen Hurts wasn't going to go the whole year without throwing another interception or what have you, or losing a fumble. So, but I don't think it's cause for concern quite yet.
What do you say to the people who say that Jalen Hurts doesn't deserve credit until he wins in the postseason?
Deserve credit for?
Just in general, because a lot of people, the national
that's
news,
ludicrous.
Yeah, well, the national media, they love Jalen Hurts right now. Jalen Hurts is like a popular guy to talk about. People people who played in the NFL, like Dominique Foxworth and Marcus Spears, ESPN, they love this guy. They think he's amazing, and they love his leadership. Dan Orlovsky thinks he has the highest IQ of almost every quarterback in the NFC. But the regular fan, there's still someone out there say, I need to see you win in the postseason.
I guess you can somewhat understand that. I mean, your postseason resume is what you really base things around. However, I mean, you can't discount what Jalen has accomplished to this point. I mean, he's been nothing short of sensational. I mean, I dare say that he's probably kind of almost single-handedly won a couple of these games, especially last week, just with his running ability. So, he's definitely in the conversation for MVP with Mahomes and maybe Tua. I don't know, a couple other people. So, you do have to see what he'll do in the playoffs to make an accurate judgment of his ability, not his ability, but his future and his potential. But so far, I don't think there's anything to argue about.
And then the final concern I hear is, how concerned are you, Dave, that this coaching staff with a lot of young coaches is going to get back into the playoffs and not be ready for the moment? There's a lot of people who look at Sirianni, they look at Gannon, and they still say, hey, these guys don't have playoff experience at this level.
Well, they do though, right?
Well, they lost the game, people say.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I mean, like, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl his first time in the playoffs as a head coach. Andy Reid got to the second round maybe his first year. I don't remember, but after that they were NFC championship games every year almost. So I'm not willing to. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the coaching staff, honestly, but I'm not willing to to use their inexperience as a as a detriment. I think they'll be pretty prepared for whatever gets thrown at them in the postseason. I mean, special teams aside, because I think that's a train wreck.
Special teams, that's the last one. Do you think special teams could lose them a game at some point here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jake Elliott aside, they've been atrocious. It's just the coverage units are abysmal, and even the return game as well. I mean, no disrespect to the guys that are out there, but I mean, Covey is a nice player, and I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I mean, he's no Darren Sproles. I mean, he's not even close. So, I just they got to find something. I don't know. Call up Reno Mahe, somebody. I mean, just get somebody. Just get somebody out there that can play special teams. Chris Maragos for the coverage unit. Somebody. You need somebody out there. Now, if it takes playing starters on special teams, then so be it. Take Ike Reese out of the WIP booth. I don't care, but you got to do something because it's really bad right now.
I keep thinking about, when Doug Peterson was here, there was a heavy emphasis on special teams, right?
Sure.
Malcolm Jenkins even played special teams a lot of times. They had guys.
He's one of the better ones. Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned Maragos. You literally had dudes. Matt Collins was literally only here for 3 years because he could play special teams. He wasn't here to catch footballs, right? So, it feels like you went from an organization that had a hyper emphasis on special teams under Peterson to the Sirianni staff doesn't seem to care as much, or maybe that's not their focus, I should say. And I'm just wondering, I can't think of another organization that had this much of just a flip on its head from being so heavy on the special teams emphasis to now the special teams had trouble covering. I don't remember who that guy's name was running for the Packers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their problem is, and the really puzzling thing is that, I can understand they don't want to throw a coach under the bus, but he keeps defending him like week after week, but now I think he's at the point where he knows that there's a problem, and there's nothing wrong with starters playing special teams, especially defensive guys. I mean, they're out there anyway. They're aggressive. They know how to tackle. They're not going to. Well, they usually know how to tackle. So, but yeah, you got to do something because it's really bad.
Yeah, Keyshawn Nixon, because we all know him. I mean, that guy's slicing and dicing your special teams like it's the varsity versus the JV squad out there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, normally you have your share of bottom of the roster guys or rookies that are out there, because that's their only reason they're there is to play special teams. But you definitely have to mix in some veterans, even, whether they're starters or what have you, just to provide some stability there. Cause it's, and like I said, it's been their main problem so far to this point.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Dave, sticking with the Eagles, what do you say to the people who said the Eagles have played a weak schedule?
No, I'm not buying that. I mean, they played the Vikings, right? They played the Cowboys.
They did. Well, it was the Cowboys without Dak, they say. That's what the crybabies say.
That's not their fault. I mean, Cooper Rush had won 4 or 5 in a row until they got to that game, right? So, and the Packers are down. I understand that, but they're doing what they have to do. You can't really fault them for who they're playing. I mean, they didn't make the schedule, so what are they supposed to do? Just go out and try and find some, other games to play? I mean, it's just they'll get challenged soon enough. I mean, like you say, you got Tennessee coming to town. You got Dallas. You got the Giants twice, although I'm not sure how good they are now. They seem to be really been hurting with injuries and things. But there's definitely plenty of challenges that await them, and then we'll get a more accurate reading on how good they are.
Next 4 weeks, you mentioned it in part. So Titans this week. After that's the Giants. After that's the Bears. After that's the Cowboys. Dave, on Christmas Day, when we be hanging out with our families and enjoying, the holiday spirit and all that stuff, will we be talking about an Eagles team that lost a couple games along the way, that maybe stumbled and fell? We talk about an Eagles team that already locked up the division. What do you think we're going to be talking about?
Well, I'm kind of negative, kind of not negative, but just a glass half empty kind of guy.
Okay.
I think that game's going to be for the division title. I think it's going to be the Cowboys and the Eagles for the NFC East title at that point.
So you're anticipating the Eagles lose at least one of these games before the Cowboys game comes up.
I think they lose this week, actually, against Tennessee.
Okay. And how much of that is? It's weird because I feel like we've been talking a lot about the Eagles' run defense recently, but I'm personally interested to see what the Eagles do against the Titans' run defense, because the Titans might have the best run defense in the NFL. And it took Patrick Mahomes being a magician to help them beat them earlier this year. So you could argue that the Titans can literally take away a part of the Eagles' offense.
That's true. Yeah, they can probably take away the run. Although I guess the Eagles probably figure that, and they're going to throw the ball more than they did, definitely more than they did against the Packers. Titans secondary isn't the best. I think they're kind of like banged up a little bit. But yeah, that's the matchup that's really going to be intriguing. Is like you said, the Titans run defense against the Eagles, or is Miles Sanders going to be able to remove the ball, and more importantly, is Jalen Hurts going to be able to find some daylight and run the ball a little bit. Yeah, both sides of the run game is going to be the key matchup, I think, on Sunday.
And Dave, before I let you go, who makes the playoffs if you had to choose between these two teams?
Okay.
The Giants or Washington?
Wow. Gosh.
They're both right there. So
yeah, they are. They are. If you'd have asked me this like 3 weeks ago, I would have said the Giants, no question. But they seem to be like they're struggling a little bit, and Washington really seems to be gaining some confidence. They're getting like better week after week, and Heineke really has them playing well. He seems like he's really confident in himself, and the team seems to be really rallying around him. So I guess I'll give a slight edge to the Commanders, although I'm not ready to discount the Giants yet.
Well, we're going to find out about both teams very quickly because they play each other 2 of the next 3 weeks. For goodness sake. Talk about a weird scheduling quirk. Washington, they play the Giants, they go to the bye week, then they play the Giants again.
That's
the bye week.
So that's really strange. Yep.
Like,
I understand.
Whose idea was that?
I understand the desire to have like division rivals facing each other down the stretch here, but that's ludicrous, quite frankly.
I felt like they got to a point where they were running out of ideas, and they're like, never mind. Just put it in there. We got to put the schedule out on the release show on television.
Yep.
At Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter, Extra Point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And he joins me every Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, always appreciate you jumping on. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Oh, thanks, Josh. I appreciate it as always. Oh, by the way, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was quiet. I guess that was
okay.
Things got a little crazy for me the next 2 days after Thanksgiving. But the Thanksgiving itself was, pretty even keel. How was yours?
Oh, awesome. I mean, yeah, family, 3 grandkids. It's always a fun time. So, excuse me. Got to spend a little time with them, watch some football, ate some turkey, drank a little tequila. It was good.
The Giants-Cowboys game on Thanksgiving was the most watched NFL regular season game since 1990.
Really? Wow.
42 million households.
I was more into the Lions and the Bills, but I watched all of them. But yeah, that's surprising. Wow.
Yeah, 42 million households watch Giants and Cowboys. So
holy moly, that's incredible.
Yeah. So the next time somebody tells you that nobody cares about football, you can just throw that in their face.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dave, take care.
All right, Josh. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how check it out on the text board on the other side, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And of course, Game Night be brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do everything from heating and air conditioning, the hot water heaters, boilers, drain cleaning services. Give them a call at 609-641-6262 and online at jenkinsandsons.com.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Back to Joel, Embiid for three. It's in! Are you kidding me?
It's Sixers Cavs tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey.
For three. It's good. He nailed a triple from the top.
97.3 ESPN.
There's nothing like having the best of both worlds. And if you need quality orthopedic care, that's what you'll get from Cape Regional Health System. First, you'll get the personalized orthopedic care the Cape region has counted on for decades. And through our partnership with Penn Orthopedics, you'll now benefit from nationally ranked clinical expertise respected across the country. For an appointment, call 609-463-CAPE or visit caperegional.com/orthopedics. Cape Regional Health System and Penn Orthopedics, the best of both worlds for a healthier life.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, we could try to fill the remaining time with awkward pauses. It's often done for comedic effect. Is it working? I can't tell if this is funny. Maybe this is so bad it's funny. Wow, we really peaked at the save big when you switched to Progressive part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, "Best product I've ever used," and "amazing. I love my Navage." Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Time to fire up your laptops for Cyber Monday savings, because the Home Depot has the tools to make your holiday magic with new savings every day. So start clicking and adding everything you need for the tech lovers in your life. Or grab one of our nailers, combo kits, or trimmers to surprise any doer on your list. Everything you need for the holidays is just a click away with free delivery on eligible online items. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Sixers in action tonight. You hear the coverage begin at the top of the hour. Tom McGinnis on the call here on your home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN. We only got several more weeks of this, these football conversations, because, once the conversations, are gone, the playoffs are here, and then the season's over, and then, well, we got to suffer through, what is that? 6 months of no football action, basically. So, I'm trying to enjoy it while I can. I'm not focused on the end. I'm focused on the moment. Dave Weinberg thinks the Eagles are going to lose this Sunday against Titans. I'm conflicted because there's a part of me that agrees with him, because I think the Titans, present some very specific matchup issues. But on the flip side, I also know the Titans' limitations. And I know that Derrick Henry, there is a blueprint out there to slow him down and to limit his ability to have explosive plays. And you saw in the Packers game on Thursday night that was a Ryan Tannehill game. That was not a Derrick Henry game as much. So you have to wonder, what can the Eagles learn from other teams this year who have, done different things against Titans? Can you, as an Eagles organization, figure out how, and I say how, to take Derrick Henry out of being a key player in the game and turn him into a spectator by getting third and longs and forcing Tannehill to beat you? Because I think the Eagles have better defensive personnel right now on the field than what the Packers had on Thursday Night Football, for example. I think that the Chiefs showed that there's a way to beat the Titans. I think the Titans are not completely without flaw. We spend so much time talking about the Eagles' flaws that we forget that the Titans have a quarterback with limitations. They have an offense that is one of the worst passing offenses in the entire NFL. That they are a team that, look, they're the best run defense in the NFL, but they're not a great passing defense. So are the Eagles equipped to take advantage of those things? My gut instinct would be to say, yes, they are. They have the talent to take advantage of those things. Will they take advantage of them? Well, that's a different conversation. For those who are wondering, the Titans are, according to Pro Football Reference, one of the worst passing defenses in the entire NFL. Their defense has allowed the second most passing yards in the NFL, and their bottom 5 in passing touchdowns allowed this season. So they can be had. You can really mess with them. And look, this team allowed 422 passing yards to Patrick Mahomes. They allowed 342 passing yards to Carson Wentz, of all people. They allowed 327 passing yards to Matt Ryan, and they allowed 313 passing yards to Josh Allen and 300 passing yards to Derek Carr. I think the Eagles that can be the key focus. The question is, will they? Can they? We'll find out this Sunday. Coverage begins with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on the call. At 1 o'clock, Billy Schweim, the Locker Room Eagles pregame show, live from yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. 10 a.m. is the Schweim Locker Room show, pregame show. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick on the call at 1. Here at home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN FM. Over to Tech Sports 609-403-0973. Tom and Margate chimes in and says, if CJ Johnson does not need surgery and will be out just 2 to 6 weeks, I hope and pray he's back in 2 weeks or less, though. He gives the prayer hands, the fingers crossed, the fly Eagles fly, got all the emojis going on here. That is the biggest part of it. He doesn't need surgery, but it seems like when you hear, different doctors talk about this, and most people don't need surgery because of where the kidney is placed. So it's really more of just how the recovery goes. And, does he listen to the doctors or does he try to do something on his own? I think that's a big part of the conversation. I believe that the Eagles can get away with not having him on the field for the next 3 weeks. I think the next 3 weeks with Ryan Tannehill and with Daniel Jones, and then we don't even know who's starting for the Bears right now, because if it's not Justin Fields, you can get the stone cold lead pipe lock of the century win over the Bears if Justin Fields doesn't play. He's the only chance they have to win any games over there in Chicago at this point. Their team is so poor. But the point is they don't. Those three teams don't have the kind of quarterbacks that can consistently take advantage of CJ Gardner-Johnson not being out there. So if you're not going to have him for 3 weeks, these are the 3 weeks to not have him. The question is, will he be back in time for the Dallas Cowboys game on Christmas Eve? I personally think that Jordan Davis and Dallas Goedert will both be back on Christmas Eve. CJ, not so sure. Avonte Maddox, probably. I mean, honestly, Maddox might be back, by what I gotta double check when when they can open his practice window. But from what I understand, he has to miss a minimum of 4 games. So I'm assuming he could, in theory, come back for the Giants or Bears game. So we'll see. But it's not all bad news for the Eagles. I'm not gonna say it's sunshine and rainbows. I'm not gonna say they're the best team in the NFL, but they're still the number 1 seed in the NFC. And that means something, doesn't it? Coming up next, Sixers basketball, Joel Embiid and the 76ers tonight on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, it's Tom P., host of Rack and Fin Radio, inviting you to join me every Saturday morning at 7 here on 97.3 ESPN FM.
And for the YouTube-only crowd, thank you for hanging around at the end of the show. Appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing over on YouTube at Josh Hennig on YouTube. I like to give a little different conversation at the end of the show than maybe what we talked about during the show, because this is where I'm allowed to get a little deeper. This is where I'm allowed to get a little more in depth, right, with certain things. And I just want to hit on something that was commented to me earlier today, and that is, I have been told, and it's not just Mike Gill on the Sports Bench, I've been told by people that the television networks don't want TCU in the college football playoff. They don't want them on TV. It's not good television. It's not a marquee name. And the problem with that argument is that even though, yes, the college football playoff is a made-for-TV event where people are paying a ridiculous amount of money for, the reality is that teams like Texas Christian University, teams like the University of Cincinnati, those types of schools have to get opportunities because you have to show that anybody of merit can get into the playoff. It's how you keep the carrot out in front of the horse, because at that point, it's less about the network than it is about the rest of college football buying into your model. You see, it's the idea of, instead of giving people reason to not buy into you, they buy into you because you have credibility. And that credibility maximizes advertising dollars. That credibility creates the monster that makes you all this money. They can't make billions of dollars off of this entity if you don't have a team like TCU get in. Because guess what? If TCU doesn't get in and they're deserving, if Cincinnati doesn't get in and they're deserving, you know what happens? People lose their faith in you. They lose faith in your process. And then you can't sell the product to anybody. The whole reason why this model makes money is because it has credibility. So we have to understand that, look, at the end of the day, people are going to watch football. Football is the number one most watched sport in the country. And year in and year out, football is typically one of the 35 or 40 most watched shows in an entire calendar year. And it's been like that for, I mean, at least based on my research, I can go back 20 years and it's a pretty consistent thing. You know, there was a time in the 90s that, you know, you had network television shows that were on that list, and, you know, there was the availability of sports programming was not as prevalent as it is today, or even in the last 20 years. So I'm going to go over the last 22 years. I'm going to go in the 21st century. In the 21st century, typically the NFL and college football are among the most watched sporting events on, and not just sporting events, any television events on any channel, anywhere. We saw a record number of people watching Ohio State and Michigan. And that tells you that people care about football. And I think that is what people have to focus on, is the moneymaker. The moneymaker is not always the name of the team in the game. The moneymaker is getting a specific type of event on the television. That's the key. 18 million households watched Michigan versus Ohio State. It's the most watched regular season game ever for college football on Fox television. And it's the most watched regular season game in a decade. So in a world where we're constantly hearing about cord cutting and people are not watching TV, or they're watching. So you have to have TCU in the playoff if they merit it, because your credibility equals money, and money equals everybody getting a piece of the pie. People are going to invest themselves in you making money, and they're getting money too.
Take on
It's
the
almost like a
Cleveland
pyramid
Cavaliers with a mark
scheme.
of
College
13-8. They're third
point.
in
So,
the East. The Sixers
you
have had a
don't
winning streak. They
listen to
won
the
all
narrative
4 of their games
that,
last year against Cleveland. This is the first of what will be 3
hey,
matchups
this
this year.
school,
It's the
that
only
school is going to
trip
be in
to
because the
Cleveland for the
committee
Sixers. They, of
wants
course,
it.
we're
So
here
the committee
in the
does.
preseason.
This is where the real scam. I've been bringing this up for
Penn
years.
Medicine
I don't
Court
know.
at the center, both
I
on
must be the
February
only one
15th
who's
and
willing to
March
say it out
15th. So
loud.
just 3
I know I'm the
matchups
only
of
one
the
who thinks
Central
it or
Division
knows it.
rival tonight.
The
And again,
committee,
welcome to our
what they do
coverage.
is
Tom
they
McGinnis
purposely
with the
rank
call. So the
higher
Sixers come in after their
certain
victory over
teams
Atlanta.
who are
Joel
playing
Embiid,
teams
sensational,
in their
particularly
top
down
10.
the stretch, making
So like
jump
this
shot
week,
after jump
all
shot.
of a sudden,
And the defensive play
Kansas
that
State with
thwarted
3
the Atlanta
losses
Hawks
is a
with
top
5
15
seconds
team.
to go.
Utah
Tobias
with
Harris
2
and Shake
losses
Milton continue their hot
is
shooting
a top
as well.
15 team.
And the Sixers able to come
Why?
out here for what is
Because
now the
committee
first of
can
3. They'll
say
be in Memphis
if
on
USC
Friday.
and TCU
And on
beat
Monday
them
night, they'll be
and win their
down in
conference
Houston,
championships,
Texas.
then hey,
Cleveland lost its most recent game
I'm not
to the
putting a conference
Toronto
champion.
Raptors. They
I'm
lost
putting
by
a team that beat one of the top
and
15
they've been one
teams
of the
in the
better
country.
three-point shooting teams
They're
in the
literally
NBA, but they
creating
shot
their own
just
narrative
7
as
of
they go along.
38, their fewest made
Why
threes in a
can
game
Michigan
on the year. And yes, they're
be
led
in the
by
playoff
Donovan Mitchell
as high
and
as they are 2
Darius
overall?
Garland,
Well, because
an
they beat Ohio State. Ohio
explosive
State was top 5
backcourt.
team.
So this should be an intriguing matchup with the Sixers.
And now
with Milton
Ohio
and
State
Melton
can be 5th because
defending
if
those two. And let's
TCU
see for
or
Cleveland
USC
who
lose,
can guard.
you know what happens if one of those two schools lose? What happens is that if TCU wins, the narrative is, well, they beat a top 15 team, but you ranked them top 15. If USC beats Utah, well, they beat a top 15 team, but you are the ones who made them top 15. The whole thing is, I don't want to say it's a scam because I think that's extreme. And I think this idea that things are rigged in sports and it's all a farce and a fugazi, all this stuff, that's an overhyped narrative by people who don't really understand intimately the inner workings of sports and how much money is invested in these things and how, like, for example, sports betting is only a piece of the pie. The real money is made off of live television programming. And in a world where people are cutting the cord, the only thing they're watching live is sports. That's why they're spending billions of dollars on these things. So the College Football Committee needs their credibility. They need to rank teams in a manipulative way. They need to create narratives to not just keep making money, not just to keep people watching, but to create a impression to the average person watching or consuming their content that all is well, all is good, nothing to see here. All right, at Josh Hennig on Twitter. Like, subscribe, follow us here on the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching and consuming the show. I know there's a little audio glitch there at one point, so I'm not fully sure what part you guys didn't hear because the way my board is set up in front of me, it's a little problematic at times. So sometimes you're flying blind with these things, and then if you're not flying blind the right way, well, causes the problem and you don't see it soon enough, well, the problem happens. So sorry about that, but I'll do better next time. I'm Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and live right here on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig. I'll catch you tomorrow for Game Night.